Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is Coach Candy, and it is time for coffee chats. It's Friday morning, so grab your best drink, whether it be coffee. I got Bulletproof going on today, tea, juice, milk, whatever it is that gets you rocking and rolling. We are at the end of the week, so it is Finish Strong Friday. We're gonna have some conversation, going back into some other things we've discussed the last couple of weeks. Good morning, Paul. We have talked about various kinds of relationships over the last couple of weeks, intermittently, amongst other things that we've been discussing as well. Good morning, Deborah. And today we're going to talk about your relationship with play. And what's interesting is even when I was going out, I wanted to get a formal definition. I wanted to see what shows up. And the definition alone already makes me just sit here and realize that this is the state we're in, right? We don't play enough. And so I want to talk about what your relationship is with play, and are you adulting too much? So what do I mean when I say that? First of all, when you look up the definition for play, I think it's interesting that it says, good morning, Martha. It says engage in activity for enjoyment and recreation. And then it actually has a comma and says, especially for children. I don't know about the rest of you, but that already puts this huge alarm sound going off around me. The fact that we have to distinguish, or that we have distinguished, that play is especially for children. Good morning, Preston. And then it has to be qualified that way. Good morning, Sylvia. Welcome. And so as I was going out this morning and looking at a few things, I'm like, really? Play is especially for children. And it got me thinking about, what is our relationship with play? We're heading into a weekend, and for some of us, we still stay heads down. We're still doing a lot of work. We still dig into things. And so I want you to think about these two definitions. And this is just the sort of academic definition. If you go up and you search the difference between play and adulting, right? So again, play is engage in activity for enjoyment and recreation, especially by children. Engaging in imaginative pretense, love that one, or light and constantly changing movement. This is the definition of play, right? This is what we're talking about. Good morning, Yvette. Now, on the other hand, on the converse, I want you to think about the definition, and I did not make these up. I just pulled these off the internet when I went and did a Google search. And so these are the things that showed up. Practice of behaving responsibly, accomplishing mundane but necessary tasks. Wow. Which space seems like a more opening, a more passionate, a more alive space? Is it the space where we're practicing behaving responsibly and accomplishing mundane but necessary tasks? Or is it in the space of enjoying, good morning, Carol, and in an inactivity for enjoyment and recreation? Engaging in imaginative pretense and light and constantly changing movement. Here's the thing. So many people are caught up right now, especially in things that are going on. We've got all this adulting going on, or this perceived adulting going on. And people will say things to me all the time, Candy, that's nice, but I don't have time for play. That's nice, but that's frivolous. That's nice. And so what I want you to do is I want you to kind of lean in this morning. I want you to think about, nice. I want you to lean in a little bit. I want you to ask yourself, what is my relationship with play? You know, we talk a lot, and I've been working with the Yes Monthly group. We've been talking about kind of our definitions around money and abundance and prosperity and wealth and riches and success. And I want to flip that the other direction. And I want you to think about, what's your definition of play? What's your definition of imagination? What's your definition of being able to lightly and constantly change movement? I want you to think about what shows up for you. Do you have resistance to that? Do you have, I'm for recreation? Awesome. So let's talk about that. How many of you can easily accept a word like recreation, which just by its very nature sounds much more like adulting, than play? So I want you to think about, can you actually say, I want to go play right now? Or do you have to say, oh, I'm going to create some kind of recreation activity? Think about that for a minute. Think about what your language is, and think about what shows up for you as a result of something like the context of play. It's really important that we do this. And one of the reasons why I ask you to lean into this, and one of the reasons is because we need to feel into what shows up in our body, right? The only way you can really understand what your conditioning, what your programming, what your belief, your center of your belief is coming from, is to note what shows up in your body when you think these words, say these words, because you may be like, oh, play, I'm good with play. And then all of a sudden you're feeling like this sharp pain in your spleen area, or you're feeling this pain in like the back of your shoulder blade back here. By the way, all those spaces have meaning. So does something show up when you say play? Do you have guilt? Do you have shame? Are you like, oh, that sounds frivolous? Do you have a thought that passes when you think about that? Or do you have a defined feeling in your body that shows up that says, right? Good morning, Terry. Because I know, like, when I'll say things, and I've worked with coaches before, I've done a lot of body work on different things and, you know, opening up chakras and energetic planes or energetic areas within my body. And so what's interesting is, like, I had said something at one point to him. I'm like, yeah, I'm all for it. Then I was like, ooh. And he's like, where'd you feel the pain? And I'm like, right here. It was right down in my spleen area. And he goes, yep, your body just said, bullshit, I don't believe you. Because you can speak it all day long, but if your internal core belief says, yeah, that's not really a space, there's a limiting belief there. And so I want you to think about just those two words, for example, the difference between play and recreation, and how and if they show up. Good morning, Shirley. Awesome. I love that. I frequently say I want to go outside and play. Seriously. That's another question. Does it have to be outside to play? Can you play inside? Because, and I'm asking some of these questions. I'm being a little tongue-in-cheek this morning. It's Friday. I get to be a little punchy. I love that you embrace it. Play. We are playing today. Absolutely, right? And some of you love to play because the idea of being responsible and accomplishing mundane tasks just doesn't sound anything like fun whatsoever, right? And so think about what are the ways. And so I want to think about, I want to discuss. I want you guys to really play today along and talk about all the ways that you see play showing up, or potentially could see play showing up in your life. Again, I think it's interesting when you go look up the definition of play, it actually has a comma that says, especially for children. That kind of breaks my heart a little bit. It breaks my heart that we have qualified that play is a space for children and play is not a space for all of us. And this is why most people feel stuck. This is why people are going out seeking their purpose. Why people are like, I don't know what I'm passionate about, because there's no time in their life for play. Play is a space where your imagination gets fueled. Play is a space where you get to dance in creativity. And I'm using these words purposely, dance in creativity. Play is a space where you get to like open up this realm of possibility. You get to play Imagine If. And it's interesting because yesterday, last night, some of you might have seen it, I posted a video of the song that's from one of my favorite movies growing up. And I actually watched it last year. And while some of the cinematography aspects of it are a little, 80s, it's still an awesome movie. It has a great message and I love it. And it's the never ending story. However, I do have to say that the video for the song that's on the soundtrack for Never Ending Story is the weirdest thing I've ever seen. It's like really odd. And so I encourage you to go watch the video I posted on my personal page, but it's really odd. So I had to close my eyes a couple times just so that I could get into the space of the movie itself. But talk about a movie that got into opening up access to believing what's possible. I mean, in fact, the whole story is that the where he goes ends up getting destroyed, and the whole way he brings it back is through his imagination. Like this, Narnia is the same thing, right? If you've done The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, or any of C.S. Lewis's, who's one of my favorite authors, and Narnia is just my happy space. I still, as an adult, like to go to Narnia. It's a space where it just opens up my imagination in such a powerful way that I get to play in that, right? And so I'm curious, Deborah, the way I play has changed. I need to add more space for that. I love that you recognize that, because this is one of the reasons I'm saying, what is your relationship with play? Are you adulting too much? First of all, going into a recharge, rest, a weekend, a space where you don't have to be all, connected to your laptop or your computer or your work or whatever. What happens is most people are like, I don't have time for play. And the opportunity, the problem is that when you don't create time for play, you're never going to create a space to open up knowing who you are. play is so important for you to be able to dig in, to lean in to who you are, the like deeper aspects. And I was just watching The Shift yesterday again, because I watch it like all the time. And that's the movie with Wayne Dyer. And he talks about moving into the meaning phase of your life, which for a lot of us, that's where we're at, right? We're in this more meaning phase of our life. We're really trying to step into what is the space where I get to serve at my highest and best capacity. It's a lot of the conversations we have here. And when you think about the meaning phase of your life, there needs to be this element of fun. There needs to be this element of white space, or as one of my clients likes to say, pink space, whatever your color space is. There needs to be this place to play, to dance, to wonder, to daydream, to allow yourself to laugh, like the belly laugh, right? One of my favorite things that's out there is laughter yoga, right? It's a space where they teach you to really create that energetic feel from your core, because there's so many studies that show the power of play, the power of leaning into that, the power of creating space for yourself. When you are constantly jammed and adulting and doing all these mundane tasks over and over and over again, you're not leaving space for creativity. You're not leaving space for visioning. You're not leaving space for opportunities and possibilities. And so I want you to really think about what's your relationship. Good morning, Mateo. Happy birthday, Mateo. Everybody wish him a happy birthday. I want you to really think about your relationship with play. Are you comfortable with play? And does it have a certain lane, or are there opportunities for you to create play across multiple areas of your life? And so Yvette, well, outside is important. Some of my happiest memories are being outside and playing. Plus at work, I have no window. I work in a concrete box. Okay, a drywall box. Oh, I remember those very well. Spent much of my corporate career in one of those drywall, whatever you want to call it, boxes. Those are quite interesting. So yes, getting outside, getting fresh air is absolutely an opportunity to play. But there's ways that you can play even in your current environment. Maybe you can't get outside. Maybe it's raining. Maybe it's bad weather. What are other ways that you can play? In fact, last night I actually drew a card. I do a lot of different oracle cards, and right now I'm doing a deck on your sacred wealth code, and I do it every morning, and then I'm doing a 40-day prosperity plan. So, just kind of I love to challenge myself in that space. But one of the cards I pulled said, or one of the things I read, I don't remember if it was what I pulled or if it was what I read, because sometimes things blend together, but it was like, you need to color more, you need to paint more, you need to allow yourself to go outside the edges. And think about that too. Do you color like a little kid? Do you remember the episode? And you all know I love to connect things back to Friends episodes, because I think every life moment has some kind of connection to a Friends episode, just the generation I grew up in, and there's always something to compare to. But there's an episode where Phoebe and Rachel move in together because Chandler's moving in with Monica, and so they decide to go for a run in the morning. And they go out, and Rachel's like, right? She's all like serious, and she's gonna run, and Phoebe runs, and she comes like flailing her arms, and she's like, woo, right? And Rachel gets really embarrassed and is like, makes up these lies, makes up these excuses why she doesn't want to run with Phoebe. And so anyway, she gets caught in her lie because she runs into Phoebe on another run, and Phoebe's like, I knew you didn't have a sprained ankle. And what's interesting is she's like, but Phoebe, you run like you're crazy. Like she goes, yeah, like when I was free like a little kid. She goes, when's the last time you ran like you were free like a little kid and not, because even when we play, we force ourselves to color inside the lines. When's the last time you colored like a little kid? Just colored with your heart. Just colored and didn't care if the colors bled over. Colored because it just felt great, right? And so what happens is Rachel decides to give it a try, and she's like, oh my God, and she runs and she's flailing her arms. Mind you, she like face plants into a horse. And then she's like, okay, I'm fine. But it's that opportunity of opening up that area of joy within us, right? And even in our play, so many times we're adulting in our play when we think, well, I'm playing with rules and with boundaries. When's the last time you just let yourself be silly? Think about it. We're so afraid. Our biggest fear is that people are going to judge and criticize us. Well, here's the thing. People are judging and criticizing you all the time. It just is. And Are you going to live your life worrying about everybody else going, oh, that's silly, that's frivolous, oh, look at her, look at him? Or are you going to be like, yeah, but this fills my heart and it's fun. I dance in my living room. I seriously am a white girl that can't dance. And I dance and rock out and will play things like 80s music at full blast and rock it out. I get in my car and I jam windows down to Muppet songs and Disney songs. One, because I just like to see people's reaction, and two, because it gives me joy. I love to walk around with Peyton and sing out loud Zippity Doo Dah or something just silly and fun. And yes, do I get people to stare at me? Sure. Do I care? Not really. And sometimes I get people like, and you can see them kind of pick up the opportunity to do the same. And so I ask that because even in our play, sometimes we're still adulting too much. We have these lines, we have these parameters, and we're like, I need to color in the lines. The sky has to be blue. God forbid I pull out my kid's coloring book or buy one for myself. I have a Spider-Man coloring book. That's one of my favorite places. Yes, they have those great coloring books for adults. That's still an adult coloring book. I want you to go out and get the freaking Ninja Turtles coloring book or the Spider-Man coloring book or I don't even know what cartoons are relevant right now, which is a shame because I was the biggest cartoon fan growing up. Go out and get like a Wonder Woman coloring book or a Trolls coloring book. I mean, seriously. And then color it whatever your heart feels. Don't color it what you think it should be. Don't color the sky blue because the sky's got to be blue. If you're like, man, I want a pink sky today, then damn it, color a pink sky. And I really want you to lean into the space around giving yourself access to play, because what happens is when you keep thinking, I got to color the sky blue, you're putting yourself in a box. And next week, I'm going to talk about the two box a little bit. The two, not tool, two, T-O-O box, and how that's damaging as well. But I want you to think about the space of when you put parameters around even your play, you're creating that space of adulting, you're creating that space of putting yourself in a box. And I even challenge you, if it feels weird, you're like, I couldn't possibly color the sky pink. Do it just to be rebellious, just to be like, what's the worst thing that happens if I color my sky pink? I mean, it's not going to be like some detrimental thing that you're going to get punished for. It's just you expressing creative freedom. And so play is the space to express creative freedom. Man, I'm getting fired up this morning. I thought today was just going to be kind of easy peasy. I guess not. So anyway, let me see what you guys are saying. Terry, my play is nails, coloring, cool music while I work, board and card games, youth group silliness, kid movies, sometimes the gym, design thinking approaches to meetings where I bring in improv and other games to release people's analytical minds, work habits, and personal barriers so they can bring their community out. Love that. Oh, and slime. Yes, I love Play-Doh. I actually love when you play with real Play-Doh, like the stuff that's, Hasbro, whatever it is, Play School, whatever it is. I love the way your hands smell after Play-Doh. I know most people don't. They're like, oh, that smell. I love the way Play-Doh smells. Just saying. I love Silly Putty. Ooh, and slime. Slime is awesome. Makes a mess, or so you think. Then it cleans right up, right? Feels so fun. That's the other thing. People are afraid to get dirty. Man, I used to be, as a kid, I remember I was one of those that took pride in my dirt, right? And so I'd come in for dinner and my mom would be like, wash your hands. And so I would wash my hands, and she's like, okay, show me your hands. And I'd show her my hands like this, and she's like, turn them over. And I would hesitate, and I would look at her, and I'm like, I don't eat with that side of my hands. My mom's like, turn your hands over, and they would just be like covered in dirt. I was really good at just washing off the essential parts because I worked really hard for all that dirt, and the idea of washing it off was appalling to me. I didn't want to wash it off until I had to, which I was also the kid, and this is gross, but I was the kid that left the biggest ring in the tub after, bath time, because I literally was caked head to toe, and I loved getting dirty. I love playing in the rain. When's the last time you danced when it was raining outside and let yourself, makeup on, hair a mess, it doesn't matter, and just dance? We are not giving ourselves enough personal permission for creative expression, for creative possibilities, for tapping into our imagination. So let's see, Mateo, Xbox, pub quiz, trivia, game nights, family get together, love that. At work, when I was a PM, I used to run competitive ping pong, thumb wrestling, and Uno competitions to raise money for charity. I love that. Connect Four. Anybody wants to mess with me with Connect Four? I am a former reigning champion in 4th grade, just saying. Haha, I remember that episode. Yes, great episode, right? Color the sky a color other than blue. Yes, I challenge you all. Some of you will freak out. I actually did this once at one of my corporate laugh out loud. Even as a kid, I colored in the lines. Yeah, so did I. I was a little anal retentive even as a child, and I've gotten myself into a space where I purposely allow myself and push myself to color outside the lines because it's so important. This might be too much information, TMI, but I have a Wonder Woman PJs. No, it's not. So do I. This is why we're soul sisters. I have a Wonder Woman t-shirt and PJ bottoms. I even have Wonder Woman underwear. That is TMI, but anyway, I just thought I'd tell you I'm that girl. But anyway, because I like fun, I like to have some playtime. I love that. That just made me laugh. I love that. I love the way we share. That's hilarious. Terry Rundell, I use the bag I bought from Lynn to store and carry my coloring books, paper, color pencils, and markers. I love having that fun kit. Ooh, I love that. Having a play kit, having a fun kit. I still have a box of Legos that I pull out every once in a while. Remember that? And Tinker Toys, right? I like to color in the lines too. Then when I miss, which is common since I'm not calm, quiet, precise color, I like to figure out how to blend or change. Me thinking about the color the other area should be. I love that. Invent, right? Terry Rundle, that's awesome. Yes, I love the play kit, and I know Lynn would love that you are using her bag for that as well. And so I just think about that. Change your relationship with play. It's an opportunity. We adult way too much. Life is far too short to be this serious all the time. I love that we're talking about our Wonder Woman PJs, right? And by the way, does anybody remember underoos as a kid? Man, I had R2-D2 underoos. I had C-3PO underoos. I had Wonder Woman. Those were awesome. Those were like kids' superhero outfits in your underwear. It was freaking amazing. My brother was Batman. It was amazing, right? I have a Wonder Woman crock pot. I love that. Yes, I have I have a Wonder Woman lunchbox. I have a mug that those of you that know when I do my masterminds and stuff, I bring it out. It's a Wonder Woman coffee mug. I've got a few things. But yes, it's that space of play. I have things my mom loves to give me, little cartoon things. She knows I love Muppet and Disney movies, so oftentimes I have coasters in my spare bedroom that are Olaf from Frozen. Yes, I'm a 46-year-old grown woman with Olaf coasters, and I love it. I love it. And it's one of those things that you're not too, where can you get them? On Amazon. You can get those Wonder Woman PJs on Amazon. There's several different kinds, and they're really soft, and they're really comfortable, and they're awesome. Yes, have fun. No one says you have to be responsible all the time. Responsibility all the time is boring, it's mundane, it's a snore, it's tiring. Let yourself play. Let yourself color the sky pink. Oh my God, just imagine. And for some of you, what I was saying is I have a group in corporate. Guy that had been with one of my Fortune 100 companies for like 35 years. And I got in there and we were talking about how people even build a puzzle, right? And this is one of my analogies I love to use. So, you know, how are we taught? Don't think about think about how you were taught to build a puzzle. What's the way you were taught to build a puzzle? How do you build a puzzle? How do you construct a puzzle? If you pull the pieces out of the box, like what are you taught? First, you're taught to take the corner pieces, right? You get the corners, and then what do? You get the edges. And so essentially what you've created is a box. Then you hold up the picture and you start finding the pieces to recreate the picture that you see. Have you ever watched a little kid put a puzzle together before they're told how to put a puzzle together? How do they put a puzzle together? They don't start with the edge pieces. They don't start with the outside pieces, the corner pieces. They start with their favorite color. Maybe it's the red one or the blue one, and they start with this funky middle piece and they put it down. And then they find another piece they like and they put it next to it. And have you ever watched a kid when they're really determined about what pieces need to fit together? They will make a piece fit regardless because they have a vision for what they want to create. Here's the thing. Most puzzles have like 8 to 12 cut pieces that are all the same. If you turned them over, I actually tried this once. If you turn it over, there's many pieces that would fit together because they're cut like on a grid. They're all cut the same. It's mass produced. So if you were to turn it over and just put pieces that feel right together, you might be surprised with the picture you come up with. And what happens is kids start that picture from the center and they let it build itself. And if they have a different idea of what that picture should be than what's the picture on the box, a child who has not been told to play in a lane will create something totally different. And I love that. I love watching how children think about putting a puzzle together, because it's not the way we teach them. And so think about it. And so when I was in the corporate thing and I said, what I want you to do for the rest of the morning, I want you to envision that you got a puzzle, that you took all the pieces out. What I want you to do is throw away all the corners, all the edges, and the picture on the box. And this guy who'd been with the company 35 years, all of a sudden lets out the most audible. He's like, and I was like, Ed, it's going to be okay. I promise it's going to be okay. But he literally had a visceral reaction, because the idea of throwing away the edges and the corners and the box that showed the picture that told him how to do something was like appalling and shocking. And so we still use that as a running joke sometimes. He's like, I'm getting better at letting go of the edge pieces. He's like, Candy, I still got to say it's scary for me to start from the middle, but I'm working on it. And so I think about how much we put ourselves in these constraints, right? Oh my God, a puzzle has to be done this way. Have you ever gone to like Cracker Barrel as a kid, where they give you the puzzle that has the pieces that if you put it together one way, the colors, it gives you a diamond. If you put it together another way, it gives you a square. If you put it together another way, it gives you a star. I want you to think about the fact that there's infinite possibilities in the ways you can approach things, and only by flexing your muscle of play, and it's a muscle like anything else, only by building a deeper relationship with play and letting your sky be pink once in a while, or polka dots. There you go, put stripes in your sky, make like, have animals fall from the sky. I don't care. I don't care what it is. Be different. Let yourself get into that expressive state and know that it doesn't matter if anyone's judging you. Just allow yourself the lightness of it, the change of it, the flexibility of it, the flow of it. And if you're someone who's always colored inside the lines, I'm going to challenge you to allow yourself to see what it feels like to not. To just imagine, for some of you, especially those of you with an engineering brain, those of you that are very analytical, it's going to be very difficult. And when you start to practice that, you're going to realize there's a whole different side of creativity that opens up for you. So I love that. Underoos, haha, I remember those. Yes, I loved my underoos. Yes, you can get them at Target a couple years ago. Yeah, they have them all over the place, but you can absolutely get those Wonder Woman pajamas and Superman and Batman and, you know, the Ninja Turtles and any other kind of freaking pajamas you want. They're awesome. I've even taken Peyton out in my pajamas, in my Wonder Woman pajamas. So, you know, I don't care. Terry, I just realized that I also play during Packer, Brewer, Badger, Bucks games by putting in my fan gear, earrings included, and cheer out loud for my teams, whether I'm this day. Oh, yeah, I got to say, I do some massive playing during sports. I am one of those. I cheer like I'm at the game. My poor dog goes and hides in the corner. It's pretty awesome. So, Yvette, what do you play outside? How are you playing for your birthday? Exactly. Yes. Happy birthday, Mateo. I just like being outside. I don't actually have games I play, but I love being outside. I love that. And play is that space to fill your soul. Play is that space to allow your passion to awaken and have a space to dance. Play is that space to open up the channels for creativity. And so what I want you to think about is, if you right now don't have a practice of play, if you don't have a space and time, and you are not gifting that to yourself on a regular on a regular basis, man, I can't speak, it's Friday. If you don't have that on a regular basis, I encourage you. I play every day. Every day. It's one of my routines. I open up space for it. It doesn't always look the same. I just give myself that space. It's not like I'm like, today I'm going to play. I'm like, I feel into it. I'm like, what do I want to do? And sometimes I'm like, Alexa, turn on some 80s music. And I just start jamming out and singing in my house, which that's a big play space for me. Me and 80s, me and country music, whatever it is. And I will just rock it out. I'll dance with Peyton. I might get out my jump. I might do whatever. It just, whatever moves me, speaks to me. But I create play every day. And it's really important. House sitting with Gadget with 3 dogs. Oh, yay. I bet Gadget's having a blast. Speaking of play, Gadget is this cute little dog that Peyton and I get to see oftentimes when we're out walking. Love me some Gadget. So that sounds like an awesome play space. So how are you going to play this weekend? How are you going to play today? How are you going to play this weekend? Before I let you all go, I want to know, how are you going to play? What are you going to allow yourself to do that maybe you've never done, and throw caution to the wind and not give a rat's ass? And yes, not a rat's ass what other people think. The sillier the better. The more expressive the better. The less constrained and without restrictions the better. What are you going to do this weekend to play? What's showing up for you? What feels like the space you want to lean in and be like, oh, I'm going to do that. How are you going to let your like silly, free, flailing Phoebe run all over the place and stop doing this? What y'all going to do this weekend? I want to know before I let you go. So I know, weigh in, get a delay sometimes. For me, I'm going to do some coloring. I keep showing up. I also have something like the last month, no, maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Unicorns have been showing up a lot for me, which means there's a big space for magic. I may actually, even though the video was weird, I might actually watch The Neverending Story or some Narnia this weekend, A Little Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. I'm feeling like I want to go play in some of my imaginative favorite childhood spaces, my escapes. I love those. I love what they represent. I think I'm feeling like called to watch. Maybe that'll happen tonight. Neverending Story. I haven't watched it in a year or so, so it's time. Carol, I sing to Tom when he drives. We are driving to Duluth tomorrow. Ooh, that's a long time to be singing. Good. I love that. I love that. I wonder, does Tom join along, or does Tom just like shake his head and go, okay, you're just going to sing. I got this. All good, right? Yes. What are you going to do this weekend, Yvette? What are you guys going to do to play? This is your opportunity. I want you to get crazy. I want you to be silly. I want it to almost feel ridiculous. And I want you to think about, how can I paint the sky pink or purple or polka dots or checkers or paisley, or I don't even know what paisley is. I know it's some kind of designer color. I think it's the one that looks like the amoebas, right? I'm going to be outside. I love it. Help my super silly best friend throw her son's graduation party. We'll make up some kind of games as we go. I love it. I love it. I will dance. Yes, I will join you, Martha, because weather is supposed to be awesome. Excellent. Well, whatever you choose to do, I hope that you allow yourself to be wide open. I want you to think about embodying the Phoebe in you who's running around, flailing her arms, not giving a rat's ass about what anybody might think. I want you to throw caution to the wind. I want you to be ridiculous and silly. I want you to belly laugh, and I want you to just tap into the inner child in you and let her or him dance and sing and play. And I want you to feel into your relationship with your play for this weekend. 80s hip hop songs. He thinks I'm a goof and loves it. I love it. Yeah, that's my jam too. 80s dance music, 80s hip hop, 80s anything. And I laugh because one of my friends cannot stand the song from a-ha, Take Me On. One of my favorite songs, and so every time it comes on, it makes me laugh and think of her because she hates that song so much that I'm just like, and I just kind of jam out and rock to it. But anyway, so whatever you choose to do, I want you to really lean in. I want you to play, have some fun. You know, you work really hard. You deserve some rest and recharge, and you deserve something that makes you feel alive and connected. And, you know, we talk a lot about connection. This weekend, make it about connecting to yourself. Make it about connecting to lightness and play and this open space. And I can't wait to hear what you do when we get back on Monday. So Terry, I sing at the top of my lungs in the car all the time. Got busted at a stoplight downtown by my colleagues who could see and hear me as they cross the street. I love getting busted when I'm singing out because I look at people and I just keep singing louder, and in 5 seconds they're either jamming out with me or they're singing along. And it's amazing how much that can change someone's day. So I say sing loud, sing proud, dance it out, do whatever you got to do. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, raise the roof, right? Just knock it out. Yes, Take On Me. Oh, Take Me On. Whatever. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. One of my favorite songs. I never get things right. Yes, Take On Me by a-ha. I love that song. Still don't understand how my friend does not. But it is a jam song for sure. Every time it comes on, I have to belt it out. So anyway, sing loud and proud, everybody. Go out, dance to your heart's content, and run like nobody's watching, like you don't care, dance like nobody's watching, and have an amazing, awesome, fun-filled, playful weekend. With that, I will see you all on Monday. Bye, everyone.